Hey guys, welcome to the Bingezone. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the ending of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Now, if you guys haven't seen this, I recommend you go watch it because from this moment on, we're going to deep spoilers because we're going to be breaking down the plot, the characters, and the ending to try to figure out what happened. Because at the end of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Sabrina does a complete 180 of everything we've been building up to the finale. So go watch it if you haven't. Spoilers from this moment on. Now, for us to truly understand the ending of Sabrina, we have to look at the entirety of the final episode because that whole episode really sets the foundations for the future seasons of Sabrina, as well as that's how we're going to try to wrap our heads around why did Sabrina truly embrace the Dark Lord and just flip up on us at the end like that. So let's start off with the beginning of the episode. The beginning of the episode starts off with Miss Wardwell telling somebody of the events of that night because Miss Wardwell goes ahead and she sacrifices one of the student athletes. I believe his name is Steve. She sacrifices him to raise the 13. Now the 13 are interesting because these are 13 witches that were killed by humans in Greendale and hung from a tree. Now these witches belong to the Church of the Night Coven, which is the coven that Sabrina is a part of. Now they were caught and hung by the mortals of Greendale. But what's truly interesting about them is the fact that the fellow witches from the coven did not do anything to help them. Not only did they not help them from getting hanged, they also did not give them the proper burial. That was a human, Dorothea, who actually came with them from England, who brought them to the New World. Not only did she bring them to the New World, she also cut them down from the tree and buried them in her land, as opposed to them getting the proper burial with their fellow witch brethren, which leaves a lot of animosity in these spirits, making them vengeful spirits of sorts. And Miss Wardwell knew this, which is why she resurrected them, because they were going to exact revenge on not just the mortals of Greendale, but all the witches of the Church of the Night, because these witches are members of their coven, and they left them out to dry, no pun intended. Now, if the witches themselves weren't enough, they actually summoned a horseman of death to come and help them on their quest. And their quest is a simple one: revenge. And by revenge, we're going to take out every firstborn in Greendale. Now, they first ambush Ambrose, and Ambrose is the one that they send with a warning to the coven that, you know what, y'all left us hanging, we's a coming. And we's a coming strong. Once Ambrose brings this to Aunt Zelda, Zelda takes it to the high priest, and the high priest decides to do what he does best. He's going to protect his coven by hiding in the school, putting a charm around them, and leaving the mortals out to dry. Now, we know Sabrina cares too much about mortals, so she's not going to let this happen. And as the series progresses, Zelda becomes more compassionate, and she becomes more interested in helping Sabrina and the mortals because she wants to stand for something as a spellman. So the spellmans decide they're going to help mortals. And at the same time, Miss Wardwell is explaining the story to some mysterious figure who we don't know who they are just yet. We find out at the end. So as the episode progresses and Sabrina's friends confront her about being a witch, they have a heart-to-heart and they accept her for who she is, which pushes Mrs. Wardwell into coming to grips that she can't separate Sabrina from her friends. So she's going to use her friends as a way to get Sabrina on the Dark Lord's side. Because the whole point of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is to get her to sign over her life in the book to the Dark Lord. And once she does that, she becomes essentially a pawn of the Dark Lord. She becomes something that belongs to the Dark Lord, as every member of the Church of the Coven does once they're baptized. But now Sabrina, who's half human, sees things a little differently, and I believe her parents see things differently as well, which is why it's suspicious the cause of death of her parents, because if you remember in the beginning, there's hints that they weren't killed by an accident, but it was actually someone who killed them, and I believe they were killed in order to tempt Sabrina, because the whole plot of this all is to get her to sign the book. Getting her to sign the book is the whole premise of the first season, and Sabrina's pretty headstrong. She's pretty strong. As a character, Sabrina is head above shoulders, strong, independent, and above everybody else in the show because she knows what she wants and she doesn't really compromise for what she believes is right, which is a big issue. So once the 13 are released onto the world, we need to stop them. Sabrina cannot do it on her own, and the spellmans themselves need help because as they're trying to ward them off, the spellmans get plucked off. Zelda gets called up by the high priest. Ambrose gets called up by Luke, which leaves Sabrina and Hilda. And that's when Miss Wardwell comes in and she tempts Sabrina because she's been tempting Sabrina in the guise of help. She's been giving her little hints and pushing her further away from the light and closer to the dark side. So when she pulls her out, leaving Hilda to fend off the hordes of demons alone and tempts Sabrina with power. She tells Sabrina, you can get the power you need. However, you have to sacrifice something. How much do your friends mean to you? How much does Glendale mean to Sabrina? And following the entire series, we know that Sabrina has the people of Glendale up on a pedestal. Her friends, Harvey, everyone means so much to her. So she decides that she's going to sign the book and get baptized by the Dark Lord in order to gain some of his power, because only with his power can she repel the 13. And Miss Wardwell knew this, which is why when she brought Sabrina there, even though Sabrina hesitated and she's been avoiding this the entire season, she needs to save her friends, so she needs the power of the Dark Lord, so she signs over everything to the Dark Lord. Now, before we go to the ending of what happens afterwards, Zelda does something very interesting. Zelda delivers the High Priestess child. Now, she gives him his... Now, he was supposed to have twins, and apparently she said the stronger twin absorbed the secondary twin. And he doesn't care. He has his heir, which kind of pushes Prudence aside, further ostracizing her from the Church of the Night. And now that he's happy, Zelda leaves, and we find out that Zelda actually took one of the High Priestess kids, because the High Priest had twins. He had a girl first and then a boy second. He's been looking for an heir, and Zelda at the same time has been feeling that she could have done more to protect Sabrina, so she actually wanted a child as well. And knowing that the type of person the High Priest is and how he treats Prudence, she knew that this baby was probably going to be treated terribly by the High Priest as well, because not only is he looking for an heir, she's also a girl, which brings him to having two girls who are older than his son. In order to protect the baby, she takes the baby with her. However, it's not as altruistic as she'd like us to think. She's not merely thinking she wants to protect the baby from the High Priest. She also feels like she messed up with Sabrina, so therefore by taking the baby, she can kind of redo her mistakes with Sabrina and do it better. And at the same time, Hilda, who finally gained the backbone to stand away from Zelda, told Zelda she's moving out and most likely is going to leave all the baby duties to Zelda, because throughout this whole process, Zelda has just been stepping on Hilda. And now Hilda is finally becoming one of her own, a woman of her own with power of her own, and she's stepping away from Zelda. Another interesting tidbit would have to be Sabrina's two friends. We have Ross and we have Susie. Now, Susie's ancestor is Dorothea, the one who brought the original 13 here in the first place, and because of her ties with Dorothea, she's able to accept Sabrina and repel the 13 from coming to the house. Even though she was able to stop the witch from coming, the horseman doesn't care. He's gonna ride in there, he's gonna take everybody out. And that's when Sabrina comes back in this, because Sabrina now has white hair as opposed to her blonde hair, and she now has the power of the Dark Lord surging through her. That's why she's able to repel the horsemen as well as the 13 by herself. Now, Sabrina has by the end of the episode, Sabrina has fully immersed herself with the witch culture to the point that she's walking with Prudence. She changed her outfit to match theirs. We have doubts that she's actually going back to Glendale to go to school with the regular humans, and Harvey's kind of away from her, so she doesn't care. And Sabrina now has this air about her, because now Sabrina has been tainted by the Dark Lord. And then we come to find out that the person Miss Wardwell was talking to this entire time was Principal Hawthorne, and she eats him, which at the time, it doesn't seem that shocking because we knew she was evil this entire time, but it's the revelation that she gives. She's not just an ordinary witch. She is Lilith, the first demon, the first corrupt soul by Lucifer, Satan himself. And she is on a mission not just to deliver Sabrina to the Dark Lord, but she wants to become the wife of the Dark Lord. She is Miss Satan. She is the devil herself. She is Madam Satan, the devil herself, and she has ulterior motives. She wants to stand next to the Dark Lord and rule with him. However, it seems like the Dark Lord has been grooming Sabrina to join him as opposed to Miss Wardwell, which is going to put them in direct conflict with each other, because we know Miss Wardwell is evil, but now Sabrina has the power to fight her. And now while all this is happening, the season ended with us not knowing much. All we know is Sabrina did a 180. She gave up her goodness. She gave up her human to side with the Dark Lord in order to protect the humans that she loves and Glendale, which is interesting because in order to protect the ones you love, you have to fall deep into darkness, is what we're seeing in this show. And I'm very interested in where the show's going from here. Anyway, guys, that is the ending of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Let me know in the comment section below, did I miss anything? Is there anything you guys are confused about with the ending or the show in itself. And if you guys like this video, definitely hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you guys haven't already. And until next time, binge on.